So today we are going to see about chapter 5, which is continuation from the previous topics. It's human rights, chapter 5 from your syllabus. So the first thing we'll see about this chapter is democracy. So when you see the total ethics topics, we'll be frequently discussing about people's ethics, moral values, principles, behaviors, and few words and terms like these only. So the entire ethics is about these words only. So democracy. What is democracy? The definition of democracy is a form of government in which the common people hold political power and can rule either directly or through elected representatives. Democracy contrasts with forms of government where power is either held by an individual as an absolute monarchy or where power is held by a small number of individuals. So why we see about democracy here is this is the basic of human rights. So democracy, when we see democracy, it clearly tells that, for example, we can also take our country. Our country is a democratic country. India is a democratic country, right? So because we pick our country representative through elective polls, right? Through election, we pick the person who has to rule the country. So that is why India is called as democratic country. What is human rights? Right that belongs to all human beings at all times, all places, by virtue of being born as human beings, traditionally classified into two broad categories: negative rights, positive rights. So human rights is nothing but, generally we call it as Manida Urimai in Tamil. So every human being who are born in this world have personal rights. They have their possibly all necessary rights that they own. So traditionally it is classified into two broad categories: negative rights and positive rights. So positive rights includes civil, political, economical, cultural and social rights. So what are negative and positive rights? These rights oblige each either action or inaction. So it means that one holds action and the other holds inaction. They may be either legal and the other may be moral. So the obligations may be either legal or a moral character. Rights considered as negative may include civil political rights such as freedom of speech, private property, freedom from crime, freedom of religion, and freedom from slavery. So the negative rights are nothing but inaction. So you don't need a person. It does not tell about other person, or it does not involve any other person. It's only you and your own freedom to speak, or freedom from religion, or freedom from slavery. It just tells about things that are without action. Positive rights includes actions. They may be either civil rights and political rights such as police protection of a person or a property and right to counsel, as well as economic, social and cultural rights such as food, housing, public education, employment, national security, military, healthcare, social security, internet access, and a minimum standard of living. So positive rights involves another person. Like you need somebody to do it. Like you need a government. When government involves, like even for this COVID-19, we involve government to participate in controlling the people. So it is involving another person to perform a specific right. So it is called as positive rights. It is legal and moral human rights. Legal rights requires an existing system of law. So it means that the law or a rule should be already existing to perform. Legal rights gains their force through legislation. So legal is purely regarding the government. Moral human rights, those rights that have other source of validity other than legal rights. We may use moral rights to criticize the law and change it. So sometimes we even criticize that this rule is not good. This rule should be brought up like this. Right? For example, the our country's punishment for raping. Sometimes we even criticize the government that this is not right. It has to be done in a correct way. So those are called as moral rights. You just try to correct it through your own knowledge and own way. That is called moral human rights. Contractual rights. Contractual rights derived from practice of promise keeping. They apply to particular individuals to whom contractual promises have been made. These rights arise from the specific acts of contract making. So this usually implies about two individual persons. When two individual persons promise of something that they own, like for example, sometimes even we go on contract shopkeepings, on building a shop or owning a land. Like two people share one land with promise of contractual rights. So it involves two persons, and this is between two particular individuals. What is the difference between negative and positive rights? So negative rights, the kind of rights that impose on others a negative duty, a duty not to do anything, a duty of non-interference. Like I told you, negative rights does not involve any other person. It is just your own liberty, own rights, your own thoughts. Positive rights, the kind of rights that impose on others a positive duty, a duty to provide or act in a certain way. So positive rights always involves another person in a very big duty or in a very big act, to provide equal rights to all people. So this involves entitlements. So the negative rights, someone or the government must not interfere. Right to free speech. So you can just tell about your own opinions because you have the right to speak in negative rights. So the state has to abstain from human rights violations. So the state or the government cannot be involved in your personal or in your own thoughts. So similarly, the positive rights, someone or the government must provide something. When you bring something or when you try to change or criticize certain things, the government has to act on your thoughts and on your act. So right to trial, judge, prosecution, all those things like court laws and rules and everything. The state has obligation to do something to secure the effective enjoyment of a fundamental right. So the state has the right to act upon your effective rights. So in the same topic, I just want to tell about the four, you see the hands, right? The four words in the hands. So human rights basically involves these four important terms, which is equality. The equality I didn't include in this PowerPoint, but I will include in the notes that I give you later. Equality is nothing but treating everyone equally. So, in spite of their race, their gender, their color, their language, their religion, so in spite of all these things, you just have to treat everybody equally. That is called as equality. That is one of the main term or main duty of a human rights. And justice. So justice is nothing but nyayam. We call it as nyayam. So everyone has to be judged equally. So that is called justice. What is peace? Peace is nothing but samadhanam. So we are acting upon all these equality, justice and dignity only to bring peace to the nations equally. So I just wanted to just define what are these terms, and I will give you clear definitions when I give you the hard copy. So the next topic is constitutional provision. So constitutional law of India. So being in a democratic country, we have certain standards or provisions developed by our parliament or constitution of India. So fundamental rights. This term is called So what is fundamental rights? So this term is one of the important terms in human rights. So fundamental rights are those rights which are essential for intellectual, moral and spiritual development of individuals. As these rights are fundamental or non-essential for existence and all-around development of individuals, hence it is called fundamental rights. So these rights were developed to, for your own knowledge and intellectual power and for your moral and spiritual development regarding the country and nation and about the government and about the rules of each human being. These include individual rights common to most, such as equality before the law, freedom of speech and freedom of expression, religious, cultural freedom, freedom of assembly, freedom of religion, right to constitutional remedy for the protection of civil rights. So these rights clearly explains about all the freedoms that the country gives to a person and what are the different types of freedoms that exist for a person. So next is right to life, liberty and dignity. So this is basically taken from Article 21 from the provision of Indian Constitution. So right to life is Article 21 in the Constitution of India. So these rights are guaranteed by the Constitution. Constitution is nothing but the Parliament and the people involved, political people involved. So the Article 21 clearly says protection of life and personal liberty. So no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to procedure established by law. So no one can, be afraid or be scared of the life, because every person being a human being in this world has their own rights and own liberty and own dignity to live and to share and to act. So the right is already given by the Constitution in Article 21. It clearly means that this fundamental right has been provided against state only. So this is only provided for each state. So the state develops and it depends on each other state whether they follow or whether they not follow, or whether they have their own rights or whether they have their own provisions. So in an act of private individual amounts to encroachment upon the personal liberty or deprivation of life of other person, such violation would not fall under the parameters set for the Article 21. An act of private individual supported by the state infringes the personal liberty or life of another person. The act will certainly come under Article 21. Article 21 of the Constitution deals with prevention of encroachment upon personal liberty or deprivation of life of person. So this article clearly defines about a person's right to life and about a person's right to liberty, because they have their own freedom already provided. So any such violations can cause a very heavy or strict punishments. So that is why they have already given an article about the rights of an individual person. As far as personal liberty is concerned, it means freedom from physical restraint of a person by personal incarceration or otherwise, and it includes all the varieties of rights other than those provided. The fundamental right under Article 21 is one of the most important rights provided under the Constitution, which has been described as heart of fundamental rights. So Article 21 has already been described as the heart of fundamental rights, because this is the basic rights any individual or any human being has to own, right? We have the right to live, and we have right to decide, and we have right to do anything that we can, because our country is an independent country. We have already got freedom for our country. So being an Indian or being a citizen of any country, each individual has the rights to act upon their own rights and have the rights to speak about the freedom or speak about any kinds of criticism or any kind of responsibilities that the person owns, or can share opinions about the country. So that is why it has been developed. So what is Constitution of India? It deals with the right to life and liberty, includes that no person shall be deprived life and liberty except according to the procedure established by law. So none of the person can say that you don't have any rights to this and you don't have any rights to that. You cannot speak, and if anybody tries to offend us, we have the right to speak because it's already been given. So hence the right to life includes anything which is essential to live life with dignity. So we have to live a life with dignity. So that is why we have the right to fight for our own freedom and own rights. So as of now, this ends, and we will see in the next class. We'll continue the same topic with few more titles. Thank you.